Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Party on Broad. Our Sixers draft coverage continues with an incredible prospect, a wing, 6'5", 7-foot wingspan. He is Wendell Moore out of Duke. We're talking his pros, his cons, and his fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. Joining me, as always, my man Tiago at Tiago PHL. What's up, Tiago?
What's going on, Chris? Wendell Moore, man, the forgotten name in Duke's high pedigree recruit team. He kind of came on the scene strongly last year. He did some more playmaking for Duke. We were talking about his defense. He's an interesting name, and I think, again, a guy who the Sixers should definitely have eyes on if some names come off the board in the NBA draft.
Yeah, man. Let's start and break it down. Here's a guy who increased his three-point percentage from 30 to 41 plus during his sophomore and junior seasons. He's currently ranked number 32 by ESPN in the upcoming NBA draft. Tiago, what are some of the highlights, strengths of Wendell Moore's game coming to the NBA?
Yeah, on the shot stuff that you just talked about, he averaged 1.36 points per catch and shoot in the half court, which is good for 90th percentile in college basketball. Now, the volume isn't as high as some of those catch and shoot specialists, but there's stuff to work there from an offensive standpoint for sure. I think that the value, man, when you watch him on film, it's defense. It's absolute defense. The combination of quickness, foot speed, length is extremely intriguing because the guy that reminded me, maybe not so much from a body type standpoint, but from an impact defensive standpoint, a guy like Wesley Matthews. And you saw how much havoc he created from guarding a guy like Jason Tatum, right? So the ability to stay connected on screens, to stay connected one-on-one in isolation, leveraging his length. Like, oh, man, I just saw that. I was thinking you on fly. Stay connected in isolation, one-on-one. I mean, he's got size to impact smaller guards on offense. He's got underrated strength. I saw him defend some power forwards on the block. So I think that he's going to be a plus point of attack defender. I think that he's going to be able to defend 1, 2, 3 on a switchable scheme very easily. Not very easily, but he's going to be able to defend 1, 2, 3 on a switchable scheme, perhaps even some force, who knows? So I think from a defensive standpoint, there's a lot to work there with, absolutely. And I think offensively, talk about the shot. He's a subtle orchestrator in the pick and roll. He reminds a little bit of more athletic, a little bit smarter Shake Milton, for lack of better comp. Does some interesting reads out of the pick and roll. Is comfortable pulling off a live dribble. So I think that the overall package with Wendell is immediate defense and over time growing to that catch and shoot, going to perhaps some tertiary playmaking out of the pick and roll. I think that's really what his appeal lies so far.
All right. I fully agree. I'll let that keep rolling. Let me bring that back up. You talked on his defense. I agree. His on-ball defense is really intriguing. I mean, that was a weakness for the Sixers last year for sure. Start off with measurable 6'5" without shoes. At the NBA Combine, he had a plus 7-foot wingspan, 38.5-inch vert, and he's also going to be 20 years old on draft night. So that type of athletic ability, that type of improved shooting, playmaking, and untapped potential makes him really intriguing at pick number 23 for sure. And you talk about his pick and roll potential and playmaking because you watch it, like he clearly does a really good job making the extra pass. He could possibly be that like secondary pick and roll threat. He's got really good feel. He has no problem finding rollers in tight windows. He can drive and draw defenders in, kick it open to the perimeter. He averaged 4.4 assists per game without being the primary ball handler on a really good Duke team. Like, there's a lot to like. There's a lot to like for sure, man. And I think he just sees the floor really well. The Shake Milton comparison is interesting because that, Shake kind of did a lot of on ball, especially in Delaware. But I think we agree now, like he's best off ball. Like, do you think he's better on ball or off ball? Like, what's your stance on that?
I mean, from what you've seen at Duke, he clearly performed better as a kind of a pick and roll orchestrator. I do think that the future in the NBA will be more as an off the ball player. Okay. But like you said, Chris, like he makes some really smart reads in the half court. I mean, finding cutters, finding rollers, like you said, in really tight windows, passing on time, on the money, that's something that Shake has kind of gotten a little bit better at over time. But Wendell doing this now, I see him perhaps growing that part of his game even more in the NBA. So I definitely see as a potentially like complementary off the bench creator for a team like a pick and roll team like the Sixers.
Yeah, man, the fit is clear. Let's talk about weaknesses, cons. What do you got, man? What are some areas that Wendell Moore needs to improve upon?
Yeah, so I think decision making is a little bit something that I wrote on when I was watching him. He can be a little bit wild, and that doesn't necessarily translate into turnovers, but more just wild shot making or shot taking, not even shot making, just not perhaps seeing where the help defense is coming from, not playing within the flow of the offense, not playing within the scheme of that offense. I think sometimes he gets a little bit wild. So that's going to have to come down in the NBA if you want to see the core, especially for a championship level team like the Sixers. And I think that, we talk about the catch and shoot. He's just got to speed up his whole process around that, because he can get chased off the 3-point line too easily. And again, settling is like contested drive where he kind of just throws some wild off balance shot at the rim. So he just has to, through volume, through experience, through playing, get used to the NBA speed up his mechanics, being able to, diversify his shot portfolio, to be able to come off motion a little bit and those things. And I think that if he's able to do that, now you're talking about a legitimate 3-and-D prospect and 3-and-D impact player in the NBA. But he's got to work on that, because I do think that he's going to have a tougher time getting shot off against NBA closeout speed. And also, like, he doesn't seem as comfortable off the catch as some of those, elite off the catch players we see going to the NBA.
Awesome. Great job, man. Let's roll into real quick fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'll let you go first because I have a couple of points I want to make.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, so in our ranking scale, I would give it a good, I'll say 8.55.
Okay.
I think there's a good fit there. I mean, when we talk about defense, I would be intriguing to see what it would look like with him and Matisse on the court. Assuming one of these guys can freaking shoot the ball, because that's a lot of length in the perimeter to try to get around. And I think Moore has fault. He obviously is not going to create the same level of chaos as Thibault, but he's got that similar type of impact, and as a kind of off-screen defender and ability to quick hands to create turnovers, create steals. Does he make Thibault expendable, right?
Absolutely.
If he then becomes a 3-and-D player, because it doesn't seem like Thibault will ever be able to shoot the ball at high level. But I have a different opinion on Thibault. I think the Sixers should keep him, but that's not my decision to make. So, but he could eventually make Thibault dispensable in a trade for something else to return. So we'll see. I do think he's going to be like a late first, early second. So he can get value there if the Sixers get him at 23.
It's a nice little Thursday. We're reviewing 3 really strong prospects for the Sixers. I was a 10 on Jake LaRavia. I was a 9.2 on EJ Liddell. I'm going to go at 9.3 for Wendell Moore. I picked 23. You look at the Sixers' weakness when Danny Green went down and Korkmaz was getting major minutes. Shake Milton was getting major minutes. Give me Wendell Moore all freaking day. 6'5". Has length for days, can shoot a little, play make a little. The ball doesn't stop with this dude. For me, 45.7% from the field on catch and shoot jumpers. So he has potential with the ball. His catch and shoot and off ball cutting is really, really strong. He's got a nice pull up. There's a lot of things to like about Wendell Moore. But what I also like about Wendell Moore, because we just got done watching the Sixers in the playoffs miss wide open shot after wide open shot all the time. This guy stepped up on the biggest stage, man. Like during the postseason, the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, he averaged nearly 15 a game in 35 minutes. He shot 49% from the floor, 42% from deep, and that was mostly as an off-ball secondary option. So this is a wing that can be that second or third option and do so efficiently. That screams to me a great fit next to James Harden and Joel Embiid moving forward. I'm going at 9.3, just a little bit above EJ Liddell. I love this guy. I think he'd be a great fit on this Sixers roster and add exactly what they need. a do-it-all wing that can provide athleticism, which is what they need.
Chris, you're saying the Sixers could potentially have a wing that can dribble, shoot, pass, and play defense all in one NBA body? Is that even a real thing?
Dude, we're Sixers fans. We gush over players that can freaking dribble.
That's true. It's like, look at that guy. He actually got around somebody. Wow.
I like it a lot. I think this is a 9.3 for me. But any final thoughts, Tiago, closing statements, and, of course, plugs before we close shop?
Man, you got me all excited about Moore. I was a little bit lower on him, but maybe you kind of I might have to rethink about my ranking.
Well, I think Wendell Moore, like we've been doing this, and like Wendell Moore is like one of those guys that falls in that category where if potentially the Sixers were to ship that number 23 pick with Tobias, I really want Morey to get by a high second round pick or something, and bring in a guy like this, like Jalen Williams, like EJ Liddell, like that. Like this fits that bill. Like I love this guy, and I would, if they got him and then traded him, I'd be kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie.
True. My final thought is anytime you get a chance to draft a Duke guy, you absolutely 100% don't do it. Because I think Coach K is one of the most overrated coaches and player developments in college basketball. Nah, this guy, I think he's going to have an NBA future, man. If the Sixers came out of the draft with him, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, me too. All right, that wraps it up, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. He is Tiago at Tiago PHL. I am Dives, Mr. Crockpot. Check out all of our NBA draft coverage at thepaintlines.com and as well as here at the Paint Lines YouTube channel. Tons more to come. Tons of highlight reels already down there as well. If you like a prospect, tons of wings, forwards, pretty much. That takes the bulk of what we're looking at here. But again, thank you everyone for watching. Go Sixers. Go follow my man Tiago. For Tiago, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.